Okay, so I've started the recording. This is our lecture for Design 350. It's Thursday, October 21st, and it's 11 a.m. We're on Google Meet. And we've kind of gone through most of what we needed to look at. We've got the playlist going on. We've looked at the weekly resource folder and the new survey record sheet. But what I thought I would do, you're working away on the theodolite readings and the rod readings and the Humul project, and I demoed those last time on Tuesday. So this time, I thought I would actually take the survey data from the amphitheater that we just took yesterday and Monday and show how you would take those readings if they were in a survey. So this is going to be very similar to the theodolite reading practice, but we're going to do it for a survey that we just ran. Okay. So here we go. And that survey data is in a folder for you to get to. Now, you don't have to do this. It's really just our lecture. But if later on you want to practice it on your own, you might wish to do that. So this is just to watch and to ask questions about as we go along. So the first thing is I need a new survey record. I'm going to open this one up, and you'll notice it's a little bit different. And I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to put these side by side so that I can see them. And what you're going to see is I'm not doing back sights on this one. So I'm going to move this over so that we just see our main site. And to do that, I'm going to hide some rows just to make it easier to see. You won't have to do this, but just in this case, so columns, sorry. I'm going to hide some columns. So I'm going to take these points right here, and I'm going to read the distance. I'm going to read that angle up, and I'm going to read, I'm going to calculate that adjustment. I'm going to go draw that adjustment. And I'm going to do my rod reading and calculate and put this in so that I get a real survey data point out of it. Okay, so over here on the left, I see all these. So I want my distance, T1.1, and my distance is right on 100 feet. I can't get much closer than 100 feet. So my distance is 100. And then I'm going to find everything in my azimuth one, right? And so this was a level sight. I think you can see that. It's not great, but you can see it. That one is a level sight. So there's no adjustment needed, right? There's no adjustment needed.
Right.
And so this is really, this one is my instrument height. So if this is really sort of I'll put this is going to become my instrument height right over here. Nor I covered up my instrument height. Let me come back over here. I'm going to leave that one back on. So this one's going to be my instrument height, because that's my known elevation. Okay, and so now I can look at my rod reading. I'll get this right. There we go. Got my rod reading, elevation. And I'm reading that as, I think that's the 5. So it's 4 point, pretty close to 4.8. Maybe 4.78. 4.78. And that one was my 0 point. So that means my level height was 7.8. Now I've got my level height. Whoop, what happened there?
And to find your level height, is that because it was a 0 0 reading and it was, you didn't have to adjust any sight on it and your rod where it read your rod was at the 7/8?
Yep.
Okay.
So this one is really exactly like we've done before. There was no angle on my theodolite, and this was my known point. So I'll write that. This was my known. That just happened to be my known datum. Okay, and then I need my azimuth reading, which is, he zeroed this one out. So it's 0. Pretty much zeroed that one out, which is kind of a cool thing to do. Okay, so now that's my T1. Let me look at my T1.2. My distance, I actually have to add 2 together. It was longer away than I could get. So it was 81 feet plus 52.6. This is where my rod was sitting. Equals 81 plus 52.6. 133.6. And I'm going to show you something next week where you're going to go, why were we working so hard to get that? But I'm not going to show you till next week.
So as far as the distance though, how did you get to 133.6?
So I had to, we had to do 2 tape measure readings because it was too far.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the it was over 100 feet and we only have a 100-foot tape. So we measured to a point where we could really identify it. That little spot on that rock was really easy to re-identify.
Okay.
And then so that's why we had 2 measurements.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, let's see if there's an angle on this one. Well, you can't see it very well, but no, there was no angle on that one. That was a level sight. So there's 0. Okay, so let's see if we can see the ground elevation. On this one, it looks like it's at, there it is again. There's the 5. So this one looks like it's 4.8246. Maybe 4.86. Was that other one 7.78 or 4.78? Now I gotta
I
go
thought it
back.
was 7.8.
Hold on. No, there's my 5-foot mark. It's 4.78.
Oh.
See, you always got to be careful, right? It's so hard to read these, right? So
Then does that mean that the level sight height would be different?
yeah, always go back and check your work. Okay, so now it's going to equal my level sight reading minus my rod reading. So I'm minus 0.08. Well, that's pretty close to 0, right? And that sort of makes sense. These two columns are supposed to be sort of the level pad for this building. And they're supposed to be directly east-west. So that's why they got chosen as our primary points to read. Okay. So what I'm getting is this is the ER1 building. So there's the two columns, and then I'm going straight out from one of the columns over the hump by the amphitheater. Okay. So that's my T1.2. Now my T1.3 is across the sidewalk. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to show you exactly. Actually, I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to do it in here. Where are we? College Oak. Here we are. This is exactly where we're doing our measurements. T1.1 is the column here. T1.2 is the column here. And then we're going to go straight out this way. Let's see if it'll let me go there. Nope. Let me take a snip of that. This is the ER1 building, and this is a cool thing. You can actually put that right in there. Insert the image in the cell from there it is. And so
So you want us
there's
to go ahead? You want
there's
us to insert the image of it
you
in our?
you can, or you can do a little drawing or something. There's T1, there's T2. And now we're going to start going straight out. T3 is right at the edge of the sidewalk. So this one's going to be pretty close in elevation also. So let's take a look at T3. T1.3. Get my distance reading. Right at 88 feet. I'm going to call that 88.25 feet. That's the spot right there. So if I come back, 88.2 feet.
Would it be 88.02?
Yes. Thank you.
I'm just making sure.
Yep. It would be, yes, it would. Okay, now let's check out our angle. It's at 88. Now I happen to know, you have to know whether that's angled up or whether it's angled down.
And that's angled down, right?
No, this is actually angled up.
Oh.
And that's because the theodolite has been flipped 180 degrees. So,
Oh.
okay, so you have to know. And that would be good if we put that in here, but that is actually up 2 degrees. It's up 2 degrees. So, and so actually let me rename that azimuth up 2 degrees. That way it's really obvious. Okay, so now I have to figure out what that little adjustment is, right? So here we go. It's 88.02 and 2 degrees. Units are going to be feet. .02. And what's my level height? 4.78.
Yes.
Okay, now I have to do so this is a little trick that I do. I just draw those and I use a fillet so I don't have to be exact. Only thing that had to be exact. Okay, there we go. So my angled up, if I look at the properties, is 3.07. 3.07.
So that's how you find your angle up
I draw it.
okay.
Now, next week I'm going to show you how to calculate it, but I want you drawing it. Now let's take our rod reading. Our rod reading is, there's the 5, and there it is right there. So it's 4.5. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. It's really hard to see, but do you see how this is the little line?
Yes. Yeah, it is a
So,
little hard to see, but
but
yeah.
4.5 or 6, 5 point, sorry, 4.56. So what's my ground elevation? It equals 4.78 plus the adjustment minus my rod reading. I'm at 3.29.
So the level sight plus the angled sight adjustment minus the rod reading.
Yep. So let's
Okay.
do that now. The way we drew it before, I came down 4.56. Is that what it was? 4.56. So that's my ground. That's the ground, right? And so if I do a DIST from my known datum, I get a vertical distance of 3.293. 3.293. 3.29, and there's that 3. Ah, that is so cool. Oh, I forgot my azimuth readings. Let me go back and get those. E1.2, azimuth 346. I think that's on a 10, and I can't read that one. So I'll call it 346.10. And now let me get my azimuth in this one. I think that's right on 350.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That'll be cool. Okay, let's take. So you see how these all start working, and I'm building this up, and it's just slowly but surely. So let me get my distance. 78. So it's going to be 77.75. 77.75. That's going to be my distance. That's cool. Let's look at my azimuth reading. Oh, that one was up 2 degrees. Did I do the wrong one? That one might have been level. That's okay. We're going to leave it at the 2. Where did I just go? Okay, so this one also is up 2 degrees. So now I have to draw this length, right? There was that one. $77.75. Okay. And I'll do that. Fill it again. Okay, so now my angled, that little part up is now 2.715. 2.715. Now I can take my rod reading. I think that's a 3. There's that weird one that's a really bad 4. So I'm pretty sure that that one's the 3. That one looks like that really bad 4, doesn't it? It would be better if we had the if we could see those. I think I might take some paint to those things and take them. So I'm going to say this one is 3 point right on 3.8.
Yeah, I think it looks like 3.8 too.
Okay, so this is going to equal level sight plus how far up I'm supposed to go minus 3.695. I actually think this one was at 0 because I know that, that's supposed to be flat across there. I'm going to change that. I really think that that was supposed to be 0. It was so hard to see in there. Okay, so now T1.4 azimuth is right on 338. That is amazing. Cool. Okay. And then our last one here. Let's get our distance. 69, really right on 69.2. That one was level also. So we can take our rod reading. .2 equals 0.58. And our azimuth reading is 320, 40, and I don't know what that one is. So we'll call it 320, 40. So there we go. That's what our survey was. Now we went back out there and he'll post those ones up, but we went back out to get a couple more points. Okay, let's see how we would draw this thing. Yeah, I do have time. Okay, so I'm going to start a new drawing. And I'm going to go find my resources. You remember where the resource folder resources were?
I'm not positive.
Um,
The one
well,
with the
yeah, I know I've got it in my 301. There it is.
I know it's in the discussion
Yeah,
board with the
I think
readings.
that's all that I did is I just put it in there.
Okay.
So let me, if from my drawing two, let me do design center and bring in some layers, open drawings, resource files, layers, and I definitely want some construction lines. Probably need a center line. Um, I'll need depth points eventually. And then I'll probably be working mostly with thick and thin, but I'll put a text one in there. So that'll get me kind of enough to be going to get started. And let me just, while I'm at it, since I'm in here, let me put an architectural B-size layout in. And I'll get rid of these other ones. And I'm going to do my dimensioning on paper space probably. So I'll probably need a dim style architectural scale factor 1. Although I might also just need my fractional. So I'll put those two in. There we go. I should have this file all loaded up now. Yep. So I'm going to use my constructions again. And I'm going to pretend that my thing was at 0, 0. And I have to remember, oops, not there, it's my units, that I want decimal feet and that my angles are degrees, minutes, seconds. I don't think I have any of them, maybe one, and that I'm going clockwise. So I need all that. And now I can go ahead and start my drawing. So my first one is from 0, 0 at an F, and it's going to be 100 at an angle of 0. And I know that that thing is at an elevation of 0. Let me go ahead and change to my text layer. There's my T1.1 at 0. And then my next one is 133.6 at an angle 346 degree, 10 minutes. And that one I have on the wrong layer. I do that all the time. And so this is at an elevation of minus 0.08. Can hardly even tell. And that one was T1.2. Okay, let's get my next one in. Let's make sure I'm on the right layer. I am. So it's from where I'm at, 88.02 at an angle 350. And that's actually making sense to me. I'll show you why in a little bit. And that's at an elevation of 0.22. And that one is T1.3. And my next one is from where I'm at, 77.5 at an angle 338. And that one is at an elevation of 3.5. That was T1.4. And the reason we had to angle that one was just where things were sitting. He could not see the rod for this piece. That's why he had to angle it up right there. He could not see the rod right there. Okay, and so the last one where I'm at 69.2 and an angle 320 degrees, 40 minutes. That's not bad. Those were all supposed to be in a line. I just walked it outward by eye, but not bad. So I'm thinking that this is a fairly good survey that got done. And this elevation is 0.58, and that's my T1.4, T1.5. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of work now. Just because I know what this site was, I'm going to put my, didn't I do C prop? I'll just put it on my thick layer. So I'm going to draw a line between these two endpoints. And then I'm going to draw a line. That's not too far off.
So you said that he went back and took more measurements or more points from out there. So would there be more than 5? Would there be more points that we would add to it, or
Yep.
is it okay?
Yeah, we're going to add two more points, 3 more points out here.
Okay, and that's for this week. So I would just go back
Well,
into the same drawing.
yeah, we're gonna post those up, I hope, on Friday and do some stuff. And you don't actually have to do this. We're just sort of kind of showing how it would work.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
now this line was east-west. So what would I do? I draw a line that's east-west. ALIGN. Remember how last time we aligned to north-south?
Yes, I remember that.
And now you
Oh, that
can see how that line over for the building is east-west, and I moved straight out from it.
that's neat.
And let's see, I probably didn't get exactly 90 degrees here. What did I do here? Looks like I could have been a little bit. Looks like this one might have been off, actually. It's hard to tell. I didn't draw myself a line. Those ones look pretty much in line, though, when I do that. Let me get rid of that one and see what happens when I draw. That looks pretty close to what I was trying to do. That's pretty cool. That was my attempt. I got some points that I wasn't quite in the right place, but it came pretty close. Now, here's the other cool thing. Now I want to draw a profile of this. So if you remember this from Design 302, I'm going to go back to my layers again. And remember to draw the profile. I draw lines out from the points that I know. And so this would be my 0 elevation. Now let me offset that 1 foot. So that would be 5 feet. But remember, sometimes we double that scale. So I'm going to do two times scale now. Well, let's get that right. You remember doing this in DT302? This was
I
the,
don't I don't know that we learned that one in DT 302. I don't think he had taught us that.
well, now you're seeing it. This is how you do an off scale section in AutoCAD. Okay, so there it's at 0 feet. Here it's at 0.22, not much better, right? So lengthen by a specific amount, 0.22. I'm going to lengthen it Why is it not letting me pick that one? Lengthen, DE, 0.22. There it goes. But this is twice scale, so I have to do it twice. So that's the elevation there. Now what's the elevation at this one? 3.7. So I can do the same thing here. Lengthen, DE, a given amount, 3.7. And I have to do it twice because it's 2 times scale. That's where the mound is there. And then this one is back to 0.58. So lengthen, DE, 0.58, and do it twice. Once, twice. Now I can go to my polyline and draw my polyline. Now, I think these ones are a little bit too heavy. So I'll just change those properties to, I'll give it a little transparency. And line weight, I'll pick as being a little bit less. There we go. And then to make it look curvy, I can p-edit if I want. And I can maybe do a fit. There we go. And if I want this to be more flat, I can add a vertex. I can add an extra point to my polyline in here. If I know this is going to be a kind of a straight line, I can add a bunch of straight points to there. There we go. And that is my section view across that little mound by the amphitheater. Cool, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat.
And then if you have a tree, let me come to my I could find a tree block and set some little trees here and stuff too. And I could set a column right here. But this is how you do it. This is the get down and do it version of AutoCAD and surveying. And I think we got a pretty good survey there, right? The only problem is I didn't really snap a line to walk along. I just kind of eyeballed my way out there. And you can see I got a little off with my eyeballs on a couple of the points.
No,
But
but it gives you a good idea, though. It's
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We had a straight wall before. So really what people do if they really want a good traverse is they mark the line with some spray paint, or they take a chalk line and actually snap it out. And they run the chalk line and you put your thing right along it. But there we go. This is our end result for next week. So again, I'm showing you now so that you can next week have a better idea of doing this.
Okay, so we don't do this, that
No,
part that you just showed right now. We
correct.
just, we'll learn that next week or be doing next week.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
But I'm giving you a lecture ahead of time so that it can kind of float around in there. So when I give you numbers and give you things, we'll get it right.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So there we go. Any questions before we log off?
I don't think so. I'm gonna fix my theodolite drawings and then I'll start on these and then I'll probably have to go over the video for the Hamul project. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll kind of work on it and everything. If I have any questions, then I will write them down and ask tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Good stuff. I'll stop the recording.